right, everybody, today we're going to take some notes on measurement. Okay, so that is your title of your notes today. Measurement. Okay, so when you measure, I'm sure we already know how to use 1 inch, 2 inch, and even the 1/2 inch or 1.5. But today we're going to talk about using a 1/4 inch and an 1/8 inch as well. Okay, so those are the fractions that have like 1/4 and 1/8. Okay, so I'm gonna break up the ruler for you and show you where those 1/4 and where the 1/8 would be. Okay, I'm gonna try to move you a little closer. So, oops. Okay, so hopefully you can see and hear me now. Maybe even a little closer. Can you tell this is my first time doing this? Okay, so if this is our ruler, okay, write this down, okay, this would be 1 inch, okay, or, no, I'm sorry, I don't know why I would think it starts at 1, it starts at 0, okay, I'm a little flustered, the video, okay, 0 inch, okay, this is your first 0 mark, okay, down here, you have 1 inch, okay, those are the big markings that we already know about, the whole inches. This is 1 whole inch, okay, and we already know that this one that comes down in the middle, it's going to be long like those ones, because this is the big, this is 1/2, okay, this is 1/2 of an inch, okay, so if I take 1/2 and I split it right down the middle, okay, I'm gonna have a measurement there as well, okay, and I'm actually gonna make that a different color so it stands out a little more, okay, notice how it's shorter, okay, but it's not super short, okay, shorter but not super short, and so if I have a 1/2, right, 1/2 of something, okay, good, I was hoping you could see that. And then I take that 1/2 that I have and I divide it in 1/2 again. How many pieces do I have now? I have 1 and 2 out of 4. Okay, there's 4 pieces. So this is actually going to be 1/4, because I took my 2 pieces and I split it in 1/2 again, and that gave me 4 pieces. And this 2 pieces that I still have colored, that is equal to 1/2, which it is. This is also 2/4. These are equivalent fractions, 1/2 and 2/4. Okay, so, but you're not going to say you have 2/4 of an inch. You're going to say you have 1/2 of an inch. So we're going to use this one even though this is still correct. Okay, so I have 1/4 and then I have my 2/4, okay, and then I have another 1/4 over here, which would be what? I have 1, there's my first one, there's my second 1/4, this would be my 1/3, okay, so my 3/4, 3/4, okay, see, notice how we're almost to 1 whole. If I had 3 pieces colored, I would almost be to a whole. I'm just missing that last piece, okay, and that's this. And of course, the 1 inch would be 4/4, which 4 pieces of 4 is 1 whole. So that's right, we're good. That was supposed to equal that, okay? So now I have my 4ths, okay? I know those ones. And then I am also going to show you how to find the 1/8 of an inch, okay? Same way we found the 4ths. Okay? If I have a shape that's already divided into 4 pieces, and I go ahead and I divide those 4 pieces in half, now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 pieces now. So my 4ths, this 4th piece right here, I'm gonna take it and I'm gonna split it in half, just like I did those pieces up there. So if I split, I'm gonna make these ones green, split this in half right down the middle right there. Notice how I made that one really small, okay? On your rulers, it will be really small like that, okay? So that's a good way to know that it's an 1/8 rather than a 1/4 or a 1/2, is because they're gonna be smaller lines normally, okay? Some rulers, it may not be that way, but for the most part, they're gonna look like that, okay? And this is going to be one of my tiny pieces, which would be 1 out of 8. Okay? And then so here's my first piece, here's my second piece, okay? So this would be 2 over 8, which is equal to 1/4. So that's okay, that's good. It was supposed to be equal, because if I color this one, and I have 2 pieces of the 8s, notice that is a 1/4 of the circle. Okay, so that's good. We wanted that to be there. But again, you say 1/4. You don't say 2/8. Okay, 1/4 is the correct term. You always use the simplified fraction. Okay, so 1/4 is as simple as it can be. Although 2/8 is still correct, you want to say 1/4. Okay, so now I have 2/8. So now I'm going to color one more piece. So here's 1 piece, 2 pieces, 3 pieces. Okay, so this is going to be 3 over 8. And then my next little chunk that I have here, I already have a big red line. So we're going to hope that my fraction that I'm ready for is equal to 1/2. And I'm ready for 4 pieces of 8. So 4 over 8, which is equal to 1/2. 4 is half of 8. And again, if you look over here at my picture, my 4 pieces of 8 is equal to half of the circle, okay? So that's good. Now I'm ready for the next chunk, okay? So after the red line, I'm gonna split the 4th in the half. I'm gonna split it right down the middle in half, like I did to my pieces up there, okay? And this is going to be 5/8. So notice the ruler is kind of just like a number line, okay? So you've got your 1/8, 2/8, which is really simplified as 1/4, 3/8, 4/8, because 1/2 is 4/8, 5/8, and then this one would actually be 6 over 8, 6/8, okay? And if I color, sorry, that was 5, this is 6, this is equal to 3/4, okay? So that is good, but again, remember, you would say 3/4 because 3/4 is 6/8 in the most simple form. It's the simplest form, okay? And then you have one last piece before you get to the end, which is 7/8. Okay, you're really close to being a whole. Just like in my picture, I'm really close to having the whole thing covered. Okay, so 7/8. And then the last one, of course, is 1 whole, which would be 8 over 8. Because 8 out of 8 pieces are all colored. Okay? So, I hope this makes sense. Feel free to watch this video as many times as you want. And feel free to label your rulers like this. Whenever you have one that's laid out and they want you to measure something, feel free on your worksheet today. Just write this. go ahead and label it. There's no reason that you can't. So use your notes that we made here, label your rulers, okay? And I hope this helps. Remember to always start at 0, okay? If you're measuring something and you lay the beginning of it down up here and then you measure, your whole thing's gonna be off, okay? You have to always start at 0, okay? You can't start in the middle of the ruler because then that's gonna mess everything up. If you do, then you'd have to do some subtraction in there and use some critical thinking of what would it look like if I did start at 0, which we are gonna do some of that, but not today. But it is one of your challenge sheets later this week, or next week. But yeah, for now, make sure you're starting at 0. Otherwise, you'd have to do some subtraction to figure out what would happen if I started over here. What am I missing? So what should I take away? Okay, but again, just make sure when you're measuring things, start at 0 if you can. Okay, I hope this helps.